Yeah. I snuck it in. I ain't mean to.
Man.
It came out of there. It came in there.
It brought it out.
He gonna edit. Yeah, it brought it out. I'm my bad. Edit.
Nah, man, we gonna leave that in there, big dog. It's history now. Yeah, man. What's up, big dog?
What's up? Chilling. Yeah. Good day. Went hard in the pound. I felt like I went hard like y'all today.
Man. That best of enemies, man. Talk about that.
Ooh. Man, that best of enemies. I'm trying to tell y'all out there, anybody who's listening to this right now, go check out that Best of Enemies podcast. The same way you be running this dog, the same way you be killing this, running that point guard, opening and coming with that fire the way you do. It's the same way Joe Castro does with that Best of Enemies podcast, but he's on the Philly side of it. And man, he has great questions. We have great topics. We're able to bounce back and forth. We're talking to other content creators out there. We had a really, really good show today. So if you really want to see some really good content, man, check that out every Sunday morning, 11:30 a.m. Obviously, it may change a little bit when the season starts, but that's some fire stuff over there. And Joe Castro over there is a dog. So make sure you make that happen and go support that because it's some good stuff. He really brings it as far as the knowledge on both sides, and we can really learn about the opponents, and I think that's good for us as content creators.
Yeah, and when I checked it out, the thing I like about it is y'all talk about a lot of football, and you know it show how in depth you are and Castro. You know what I mean? Y'all do a good job of going around the league, and it's interesting. I even got over the fact that he was a Philly dude. I got over it.
Because you know, when he initially came at me, what I was like, but then I just saw he was really about football, really the knowledge of the game. He wasn't about that arguing or fighting. Of course, he's gonna have his own thoughts about Philly, but the way we do it and we go back and forth, it ain't nothing crazy. And it's respectful. Like I'll tell him points about the Cowboys. He'd be like, you know what? I don't like hearing that, but I have to agree with that and say that's true. And I think that's one of the reasons why we have a good conversation, because right is right and wrong is wrong and fact is fact. And if you're presented with facts, you can't deny those. If he presents me with those facts, I may not like it, but I'm like, yeah, I don't like hearing that, but yeah, that is true what you're saying. And I think that's what makes it good.
Yeah, and it's the one thing I know about a lot of Philly dudes. Like a lot of Philly dudes, it'd be almost hard to hate them sometime when they talking football. You be like, cause they do keep it about the one. You meet some of them that really do keep it about football. You be wanting to kind of take a jab, but you be like, nah, I can't take it. I can take it to jab, but you keep it to 100. Like I knew a lot of them that wanted Dak over Wentz, and I was like, see, I can't fight nobody that just keep it real. It's just like that. So
nah, let it be known though, I don't mess with all of them. That's the only one I'm doing stuff with, so people don't get it twisted.
Yeah. He gotta be a fit.
It gotta be a real fit. I ain't doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, also, you know, before we hit this Cowboys thing, selfish plug, go check out that high school thing I'm doing over there, folks. It's banging. We had 2 awesome interviews I dropped today. Wes Wiggins, a young freshman starting left tackle out there. He's really going to kill it. And then we also had Kobe Williams, 6'6", 300-pound offensive tackle. He's going to a 5-power school, believe that. I got a couple other ones coming up, but please go support those kids. I got a lot of good fire lined up. Had some good 7-on-7s out here in Columbus yesterday. So just support the kids, man, as much as you can.
Yeah. I went down your Twitter and I liked every one of them that I saw. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I check it out. You know what I mean? Because there's some talented ones you got in there, man. I saw that receiver.
Yeah. We got some guys. We got some guys that are going to be doing stuff, and how we're going to be doing it weekly. I'm going to be doing like a weekly show on it. So after they do their high school games, I'm going to get all their stats and have my own player of the week, break down their stats. I got some dogs, man. I got some guys that are really going to hit some Division I schools, even Division II. You know, boss, it ain't all about Division I, because these coaches are seeing these kids everywhere nowadays. So it's really how good you are. And when you go there, you make your mark. And when you make your mark, somebody's going to see you.
Right. Yeah, man. So, yeah, man, welcome to the Final Word, man, and appreciate what you're doing for the next generation of athletes. And let's help Big blow that up. You know what I'm saying? It's all about football, all levels of football, you know, helping them out too. Yeah, man, that's real good for the community. I love that, man. That's very good community work and football work. Is you know, it's good business. You know, giving them exposure, getting their name out there, getting eyes on them. Yeah, bro, good job on that, big dog. Real talk.
Yeah, well, let's get it. Let's talk these Cowboys, man. We was talking some stuff, man. On this off air. Let's talk about these Cowboys.
Boom.
You go ahead, point guard.
It off with you, big dog. Let's see. I
man.
figured out a pattern. When my boy say I'm tired of something, it's gonna be weird. Listen. Let me put the camera on me real quick. So look, when he say I'm tired of something, it's finna be fire. Your best tweets we gonna talk about is the ones when you started with I'm tired of something.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
So go ahead, big dog.
I mean, you see the tweet. I say I'm kind of getting tired of the Zeke hate. Like, this dude really works his butt off. He's still a very good back, regardless of his burst leaving. Y'all need to chill. And I just really believe that. I mean, we were talking about it the other day, me and you, boss, and you were saying, I believe he still got a little burst, and I think he's got enough burst. He just doesn't have, you know, when he gets into that open field and it's a one-on-one, that he's going to most likely take it to the house unless he has maybe a linebacker on him. Most likely those guys are going to get him now, but he's still going to get a good enough amount of yardage. You feel what I'm saying? But the problem is with me is everybody wanted to say, okay, after this year was over, okay, let's go ahead and anoint Tony Pollard as the starting back. Ezekiel Elliott needs to go ahead and be a third down back, and that's all he is. I'm sorry, I don't disrespect nobody in the streets, but that's crazy talk to sit there and tell me Ezekiel Elliott is a third down back right now. Okay, so I'm going to just go to some of his stats last year. I mean, 2020, everybody, that's where everybody's basing it off of, boss, because he didn't have the greatest 2020 year, but we saw he lost Dak. There was a lot of components really messed up. He had like maybe 6 fumbles, I believe, but coming back into this year, this is after his injury after week 4, and that's what I'm talking about, boss, because we were all talking about, me, you, and everybody, how much that training he was doing in the offseason, those videos he was putting out, we saw those first 4 of the games of the season, and that offensive line, that offense was churning. They were one of the top rushing rushing teams in the league. I think they were like top 2 at the time, and it was because of Ezekiel Elliott, and it was making it easier for Tony Pollard. But, I mean, look, 237 carries. I believe the year when he had under 1,000 yards, he had around 200-some carries as well. But he got 1,000 yards. He still averaged 4 yards a carry. He's averaged nothing below 4 yards in his whole career, right? Still got 2.73 yards after contact. Forced 19 missed tackles, and still had 24 explosive runs over 10 yards. Now, I know you want to see the 20 yards, but he's still being able to break through the line of scrimmage and have that burst. So if he didn't have that burst, right, boss, he's not getting 24 explosive 10-plus runs. Okay, he's not being able to do that. He's going to get hit at the line of scrimmage. He's going to go down. He does not do that. He still offers. I mean, he had 47 receptions last year, so he can still catch the ball at the backfield. Only had 2 drops. And if we look at his career as what he's done, I'm not going to sit there and say Ezekiel Elliott is a washed-up back, and people are saying that are crazy to me, because this will still be a good 1-2 combination with Tony Pollard. Yes, I want to see Tony Pollard a lot more in this lineup, whether you put him out wide, whether you're using the 2-back system, if you're throwing off the defense when you put them both in the backfield, however you want to do it. But Ezekiel Elliott still needs to be a point in this offense, because when he is running good, this offense is better. Hey, I love being a Cowboy.
Big game, James.
Game changer.
Let's have some fun. Let's have a good time, man. Let's kick it.
So you starting like that? That's how you starting off, big dog? That's
I had to come with yo got fire, yo got flame, yo got flame.
Say, let me hit that.
Yo got fire, yo got flame.
And boss, you know, they said in there, I forgot T Smooth TV, shout out to you. 10 touchdowns, dog. 10 touchdowns. I don't care how he got them. That's still 10 touchdowns. You feel me?
10 touchdowns.
And when we talk about running backs in the league, everybody's going for, you know, I mean, Ezekiel Elliott is still up there with me, with these top backs, like I said. And we know he doesn't have that same top end speed, but he still has enough burst when he gets through that line of scrimmage. I don't know if you had the clip, boss, where they gave him a handoff in practice. And as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, he did this nasty jump cut, faked out everybody, saw the hole, instantly burst right through it.
I got it.
And I mean,
just give me a second.
He really, yeah. If boss can show that, that's going to show you, man. Dog, if a washed up back is not doing that, you know what I mean? So, and I hear what everybody may be saying about Jerry Jones, he needs to be the focal point, blah, blah. No. But we know, don't pay no attention to Jerry. Stop listening to what he say. Stop listen to anything that Jerry say. But here, just like here, you can see when we're talking about how Ezekiel Elliott, number one, Ezekiel Elliott, he never falls backwards, right?
Right.
You got to love that about him. He never goes backwards. Look, get off me. Get off. Look at that. I mean, dog, I don't care. That's where he got hurt, too, and he still shook that off. You know what I'm saying? And you know what he offers. Look, here's that. Throw it to me. Bam. Look at it. Get off me. Dog, I love Zeke. I know he's not the back he used to be. I know eventually he's going to be gone. But I love Ezekiel Elliott. Bam. He makes our offense better. Get a better block out there. Thank you. Maybe help him out a little bit because that did hurt him too, boss. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't the greatest blocking on the line of scrimmage when they started making these changes and started doing the foolery, right? And we also can say that when they had Leo Collins, and you said it as well, boss, when those plays were coming with Leo Collins and it was Ezekiel Elliott wasn't getting nothing, right?
No. Nope.
But when they started inserting Terrance Steele on that side and he was running to that side as well, guess what? Ezekiel Elliott was doing things. So your running game is also contingent on your blocking, right? If you don't have an offensive line, you ain't running the ball, period. I don't care how good you are. So get that offensive line together. I think we're going to see a better offensive line this year. I believe in Tyler Smith. I like him. I think you do too, boss. And I think you made a tweet. I think you did about Tyler Biadasz, how he got bigger. He's like at 315 now. He's made a point to get bigger. Connor McGovern has worked his butt off. I told you he's worked with Joe Philbin, ex-people, to kind of get closer to him. So that offensive line is dedicating. You see Terrance Steele, how much he got better doing with Duke Manyweather. You know what Zach Martin brings. So look at this, boss. I'm trying to preach positivity out in this air. You get what I'm saying? Y'all always getting mad at me saying I'm being negative. Here, listen to some positive Big Game James right now.
Yeah, and you speaking facts. The thing that I will say is, you know, regarding Zeke is I think a lot of people misunderstand the averages, right? Because they look at the averages. That's the case they make. The case they saying is Pollard averages more yards, so he's the better back. But we both know that what was the run? Randall had a better average than Murray. Mm-hmm. Felix Jones had a better average than what's the guy who passed?
Marion Barber.
You know? Mm-hmm. So, but all of us knew that they was doing a different job because it's about the job, especially when you're the guy that's the first down back, right? Or you the guy that's the closeout back. You going against defenses that know you likely running the ball. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you're not going to have a better average. See, that's why the numbers people are missing it a little bit. You know what I mean? And they are not looking at the other part, in my opinion, Big, where you get a steady physical 3 yards with Zeke, 3 to 4 yards. You know what I mean? And it's the physicality that they not also win in. That person that actually brings pain to a defense. You know, that opens it up. Like, people don't factor in the hammer that Zeke is, you know. So they just think Pollard is more explosive as if all of his runs are explosives. He might have one explosive runs with 4 bad runs. You know what I mean?
I mean, I agree. And then, as I said, I'm sorry. I feel like Ezekiel Elliott is just for real, a more complete back than a Tony Pollard still at this stage in the career. Tony Pollard is not going to get you those battering yards like Ezekiel Elliott is going to offer you. And as I said before, when that offensive line is giving him some good quality blocks, and also we're talking about how about Kellen Moore continue to get a little bit better with the play calling, with the run designs. Maybe if you design better run plays, it makes Ezekiel Elliott a better runner instead of first down running straight up the A or B gap, just running straight up the middle, and then you're getting stuffed for 1 yard. Then everybody's saying Ezekiel Elliott is done. How about you getting a little bit better with that play calling to make it a little bit more trickier for that defense to see what the obvious play is doing, because that's what got caught up as well. We saw that, boss. We were talking about it toward the end of the year. Teams were figuring out Kellen Moore's play calling and were running their defense accordingly. So if they know that you're going to start with a first down run and they stuff it instantly, is that Ezekiel Elliott and the offense's fault, or maybe is that the play calling needs to get better?
Yeah, it's the play calling for sure. It's the play calling, and see, this is also because it's going around a lot, and it's a lot of people that got this opinion. Like, I ain't shooting no slugs at nobody. I just totally disagree. It's a campaign, like, almost for Pollard. Because when Ian reported. He said, interesting comments from the Cowboys owner Jerry Jones on NFL Network saying that Ezekiel Elliott has to be the focus in the run game. He has to be the focal point based on his work in the run game and pass game. There's room for Tony Pollard while Zeke is in there. I actually agree. I think that's how they really should do it. I think they still should hammer. I mean, you got obviously give Tony Pollard his touches, right? He still need to get about 15 touches. I think that'd be good for him, and if he really get going, feed him the ball even more. I'm cool with that too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying just go in there like you stubbornly finna, go at Zeke, let both of them get going. You know what I'm saying?
But whoever's hot, go with him.
Yeah. But I like the fact, I want us to start physical. And you start physical with Zeke. I mean, very physical. So, now, I agree with it. And then when you look at the campaign, he say ridiculous. What a joke. So, it's like the intensity from a lot of people. It's a lot of intensity like Jerry and them dumb for this. And it's like, I don't think they dumb at all, man. I think this is a good strategy in a physical football game. Just being honest. I think if you try, and if you trying to, like they say, if they trying to establish toughness, like they've been saying, if you trying to establish toughness, why would you start off with Pollard?
Exactly.
I mean,
you're contradicting what you're talking about.
Right. And I do recognize that Tony Pollard got more bursts. I get that. He got more. He ran a 4.3. Zeke ran a 4.4 out of college. So he got the burst, but like baseball is not just home runs. Running back is not just 60-yard runs every 6 games. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. Yeah. It's another thing that you mad about. I want to get into.
And you're gonna feel me on this one. This is with you. Which one we going with? We doing CeeDee or we doing Terrance?
We could go Terrance. You want to go Terrance?
However you want to go.
No, we can go where you mad. I'm gonna go where you mad, bro. Let me go to Terrance where you mad.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I got it right here. All right, here we go. All right, we flip it. Boom. All right, so there you go.
Okay, so this is the other tweet. It's just in my head because I've been hearing in the streets and I've seen on a few plays Terrance Steele get shook up by Micah Parsons and D-Law. But another thing is I'm tired of hearing is Terrance Steele getting worked by D-Law and Parsons. first of all, ain't no pads yet. We already know the defense is at advantage when there ain't no pads. They just are. And then second of all, these are elite players. Now, y'all know I'm talking about D-Law. He is a very good player, but in the eyes of a lot of people, and he's still an elite type player as far as if you look the total contribution of what he brings. And we know Micah Parsons. This only helps Steele. How can we get mad? He is going against dogs every single day. It's not like he's going against these what we talked about back in the day. I'm not hating on any of these guys. I can't even think of them. Maybe who are some old guys that were with the Cowboys and we're like, who are these guys defensive? And this is like 2014. Some of y'all think of some names and I'll mention them once y'all bring them in the post. But it wasn't like he was going against the regular type dudes in practice where he's stuffing them, he's staring at them every time. They ain't getting past some balls. But is these dudes that are starting on our defense at that time where they getting past anybody? You feel me? Right. So you ain't getting jumping up and down that he's stopping those players. He should. You want these guys to beat him because to me, Terrance Steele is a guy who wants to get better, right? We've seen it already, boss, and you've been hammering Terrance Steele, how much you've been liking him. So this, like they say, iron sharpen iron, this is a play where you like to see this, him getting beat some. It's going to happen, and when he gets the pads on, he's probably going to get beat in these games. We've heard a lot of things in the streets when DeMarcus Ware was killing Tyron Smith, or he was working him when we first came to the league and started. I'm not saying he's a Tyron Smith, but what I am saying that you want elite players going against him because this is only going to get him better and prepared. So when he gets into the season, he's not going to be blindsided playing against elite guys because he's seeing these type of guys in practice on a daily basis.
No, I feel you, man. It's one of those things, when I did the thumbnail, we was talking about on the thumbnail preparing for the pads because that's a major disadvantage to the defense when you can work speed without retaliation. You know what I'm saying? With no type of retaliation. So if I was going against the OC, right, and there was no pads, I would win occasionally.
You're going to kill him.
I would get around the corner.
I'm not saying you're going to kill him. You would get around that corner.
I would get occasionally. I would get around the corner. But put them pads on, and he get his hands on me,
it's over.
Bro, he'll separate my shoulder.
It's over.
You know, like,
you feel me? The pads change everything.
Yeah. So the big guys don't have the counter to speed. You know what I'm saying? So we got to see these big guys get that counter. You know what I'm saying? The mitts. You know what I mean? The physicality. Like when I'm able to get you and dunk you on your head, I'm going to slow you down that way. See, and that's real what I just said. Because all you got to go do, just keeping it real, being all the way honest, go watch Terrance Steele versus the Chargers and watch how he literally wear down Bosa. You know what I'm saying? Because Bosa, if you passing a lot, he go get after that quarterback. But if you running at him, you know what I'm saying, and you laying on them, dunking them into the ground like Terrance doing right now. Your burst is different. You know what I'm saying? When your leg hurt. So when you can look at it, got him in the ground. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So that speed to power without them pads is, it's advantage to the defense. You know what I'm saying? So we getting ready to see.
Also seen that Dalton Schultz on that great block right there. When we say he didn't block, he pushed Bosa all the way out on that play.
Let me see.
Just watch.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite plays. Yeah.
Get out of there.
Yeah.
Get out of there.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff right here.
Yeah, man.
Like
Terrance Steele,
look at that.
But
engaging. Look at that.
Look at that. How you think Bosa feel when he got chunked?
You feel me?
Yeah, he got chunked. How you think Bosa feeling right now? Get thrown into some grown men. Just
drive. Get on the ground.
How you think he feel right now?
I mean, is he not opening that hole? So, and we know Terrance Steele, like we talked about, boss. Like you was on the Terrance Steele train, saying La'el Collins should not be coming back in the game. As you keep on showing more tape, you kept on saying yourself, he should not come back in the game. It's not right that this dude is working his butt off. He's made the improvement. He's gone hard, and he's been the better player. And now we see what's going on with La'el Collins. But the more reps this kid gets, the better he's going to be. And he wants to get better. He wants to excel. You know what I'm saying? What they really need to do is throw a contract at him right now so he don't cost too much money. What we talking about, they need to go ahead and give him some money right now, and not until he kind of blows up and has an extraordinary year. Because if he comes out this year and looks really good, he gonna want some money. So they probably should try to look to do maybe some extensions now. I don't know. But I like what Terrance Steele brings to the table, although he kind of missed right there, but that's all right. I like what he's brought to the table, boss. You've been a trumpet of him ever since I keep going back to when we both saw him in that Senior Bowl, and Bradley and I was working him like no other. But you are one of the main people that are saying, listen, man, this dude, if you give him some time, we understand he's going to be undrafted. We understand he needs work, but if you give him some time, if you do some good training with him, he might be somebody. He won't be the Chaz Green that we were talking about. Remember, we were both talking about he won't be that Chaz Green. He'll be a player that you'll be able to work with. And look what's happened 2 years later. So really, you need to give some credit to Boss Cowboys, because he's kind of been saying that on the low. A lot of people haven't been paying attention to it. And shout outs to you on that find and look, because I was agreeing with you how Terrance Steele can be a better player for the Cowboys.
And another thing about him that hasn't came out quite yet, he's actually nasty. He's nasty. And see, I was loving him at Texas Tech. I thought he was very underrated. Because he was physical. He was real physical. Like, listen, he's not playing as mean as he can be. I've seen him mean. So I think he trying to low-key just play good, keep his head down. He got that undrafted free agent spirit. I think with a full year of starting, he going to have a starter's mentality where he going to come out. And that's the other side of him that's exciting to see, that I can't wait to see. And I'm telling y'all, before it happened, he gonna be one of the meanest tackles once he really settle down, and especially if they pay him. You know what I'm saying? But I promise you, I'm gonna go back to this show. He gonna be one of the meanest. I'm talking about mean. You know what I mean? So yeah. So now I agree with you, man. I want to see what them pass come on, and if he keep getting work, like you say, it's good for him. He need this, because who else in the league, Big? I'm asking you a real question. I'm putting this on you. Who else in the league got a defensive end that runs a 4.3?
Exactly.
Okay, so because you can't think of one, because I can't either. I'm for real too.
Or as dynamic as somebody that's lining up to you, where you're actually, let's keep it real. When Micah Parsons is lining up on you, you're gonna get a little nervous. You're gonna be sitting there thinking, like, what is this dude gonna do? Because that speed is ridiculous. He's so bendy. He's so different. Like Mike McCarthy said it best. He's a guy that he's loose in the phone booth. That's a great compliment when you talk about a player, when he's talking about when he's loose in that phone booth. That means, dog, in them tight spaces, he can do anything.
Yes.
So when you got that guy coming around you that can do that only, like I said, makes you better at your trade. That only makes you better as getting better at your technique to be able to look for certain things. So when you see with the Chase Youngs or whatever, the defensive ends that the Cowboys will be going against this season, that will be dogs, he can sit there and say, hey, I seen this in practice every day. This ain't something that's new. And I'm going to be tripping when I'm seeing this guy lined up across from me, because I see this in practice every day.
Right. Because I think Micah Parsons going to make the game slow down to Terrance Steele. It's going to slow down, because if you can even get to where you can kind of hang with a Micah Parsons on a daily basis with that speed and that agility, he truly has running back agility, So now you're right. It's one of those things. It's like when, he going against the best person in the league.
Yeah, for real.
I think him and Aaron Donald are competing on freakishness. Him and Aaron Donald. I think those are the two people. So another thing, man, that you, because I'm going all on your tweets, man. Let me see. I got another good one from you. Let's go through your tweets because you got some good stuff right here. So you got another one.
Yeah.
And you talking about CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Is likely go get 30 million.
I mean, you don't think Stephen Jones just saw Deebo Samuels get paid too?
Yep.
You don't think he wasn't watching that?
Definitely.
And so when I seen this tweet, and I'm like, you're thinking now, y'all know Lee Corso on that college football is like, not so fast, my friend. I don't know if a CeeDee Lamb gets paid that money. Not saying that he can't get it paid. He shouldn't get paid, especially if he has a really good year, but we've already been hearing in the streets. We talked about it before, boss, when we had this on the Final Word about months ago when they were talking about they needed to see if CeeDee Lamb had the alpha energy. They were putting it out there. We don't know if he's the dog. We don't know. We got to see this year. We saw him kind of with Amari Cooper. We knew he was nice, but he been good, but he ain't been great like we thought. That's what they were saying. Bobby Belt reported this, and that's what multiple people were saying this. Well, you had it on the interview. We had it on the Final Word.
Sure did.
So that was put out there. So now you're hearing, now you're seeing CeeDee Lamb, and now we know how Stephen Jones does, talking about we always want to see our young players. We saw how Amari Cooper got undercut. We saw how Dez Bryant got undercut. We saw the crazy targets from CeeDee Lamb last year. Man, keep these eyes on a young Tolbert, because if he starts getting a lot of receptions early, we know what the Cowboys are getting ready to do.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting ready to play that funny game of, you're good, but we don't know if you're 30 or something million good.
Yep.
So we don't know if you're going to pay him. Boy, that Tolbert, he is so good. He had a great rookie year. A lot of potential. We think he could be a number one in this system. What, boss? Is he not going to say that? We really think he could be a number one in this system. And guess what? And so it begins once again. And that's how I just really feel how Stephen Jones does it, just in my opinion. It could happen again right here with CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, it looks like that's what's could happen, because I'm listening to a lot of people in training camp, right? And a lot of people in training camp been telling me that they've been featuring Schultz. You know what I'm saying? They not featuring Lamb as much, you know? So, and we already know that they believe in this system. That's why they never say anything about the criticism that comes at Kellen Moore about wanting matchup football. You know what I mean? Versus this system stuff. So, as a matter of fact, Coach Marv sent me an article where Tony from the Giants, he said basically that he likes this system now because it's more matchup focused versus under Jason Garrett. It was a system. That's what he said, man. And he said under the matchup, that gives us the room to be creative. And I need to do a film breakdown on that, because I don't think a lot of people see it, because I fully understand what Kellen Moore thinks he's trying to accomplish, right? I get it. You're trying to make it hard for a defense to determine where the ball is going. You're also trying to go towards advantages, and you trust in your guys. That's what it's about. I get it. But this system also takes away creativity when it's all about hitting a spot and a depth. You see what I'm saying? You got to hit this mark at this certain time, so that, because you trying to, and you making assumptions. This is the assumption they making. They saying that corner or that safety can't close that space. You see what I'm saying? And there are corners. And I know, because I play corner, they are experts at allowing you to eat up that cushion, and then they get tight. So even if you go to a certain space and you make your cut, if it's no change up in how you do it and no creativity, they go start locking you down. If you have no change up, if you got to run your out route the same every time because this is about timing, it's not gonna work, and you take away their creativity. You trying to be
you're gonna
New
start
England.
jumping them routes.
Yep.
You're gonna start jumping those routes. You're gonna start, like you said. That's when they start getting more physical at the line of scrimmage. That's when we start seeing the batted balls knocked down, and then we see the bad passes because they already know Dak's going to throw it here, jump that route, hit it. If you don't get the interception, get your hands on the knocking down. Now we're going for a long 3rd and 15, 3rd and 16. So, like you said, he's putting the team in bad positions, and I don't even want to just hate on Kellen Moore because I was riding Kellen Moore until things were changing, and I'm like, okay, dog, you got to come with something different. And the problem is with this boss, when we were talking about this with Linehan and even with Jason Garrett, it's the tree that he's come from. What were we saying? The same thing about Scott Linehan. They were saying the same about Scott Linehan, how he kept on doing the same plays over and over and over, and teams knew exactly what they were going to do. I heard it from T.O., and I heard it from other players from the Cowboys, how they said Jason Garrett had these offenses that got a lot of yards, but they weren't a dynamic type offense, and teams could start scheming and understanding what they were going to do. Right. And that's the tree that Kellen Moore has come from. So when we see these same mistakes he's doing, it's the same mistakes we've seen repeated with Scott Linehan and Jason Garrett before, because that's the only tree he's come from. And so there has to be more creativity or more help, I feel like, from a Mike McCarthy. He said himself he missed doing play calling, he missed calling plays. So
he did.
This is where we talked. He said that. He said he missed calling plays.
He had
but
a long pause, dog. I don't mean to cut you off.
Feel me?
I'm gonna let you finish.
Go ahead.
But that was the first time Mike McCarthy had an intentional slow pause. They said, "Do you miss play calling?" He said, it was an awkward pause, bro. It was like, what was the theatrics about, dog? But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this basically said, I miss play calling, but this is Kellen Moore's thing, so I'm going to let him do it. I wish he would step in, but that's where I say the dysfunction is, and I don't want to beat it because, I don't want to just sit there and say that. But this is where I hear when Stephen Jones has made remarks about we don't interfere with the coaches do. We let the coaches coach and whatever. I just don't believe that, because when I feel like you're a general manager, I've seen plenty of general managers on teams talk to head coaches or say, hey, you need to start making these plays, or this guy needs to start getting the ball. I've seen plenty of general managers in the NFL do that. So what would lead me to believe, Boss Cowboys, that with Jerry and Steven, how much input they have on this team, that they wouldn't have an influence in play calling. I'm just sorry. I just can't believe that.
Right. Yeah. So it's another thing, Big Dog, I know people want to kind of talk about. I want to get into it with you about this real quick, and that's Takk, right? So obviously Takk has been the talk of the city, right? It's been a talk. So I want to get into it with you, and obviously I know you go expound on it very heavily. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But, we all know at this point that they're not signing him because they're allowing him to go into the market. So first of all, what does that say? And then we can talk about that, and then we can talk about everything else, because I got film on him. I got everything. So what's your first thoughts?
My first thought is maybe he has a high number. He feel like he's worth more than what they're probably even throwing out there to him if they did talk about any kind of money. And so, what Stephen Jones always says, we're going to come with a number. He said this time and time again, boss, we are coming with a number. If it goes above that number, then, hey, we're out of it. We're going to go ahead and back out, and then we're going to see what they want to do and see if they want to come back around. So that's why he's going to probably do a tour, probably put his number out to the other teams. If they don't like that number, then we could see the circle back around to come to the Cowboys. But I want to say something about this, and I'm not really excited about this this pursuing. And this is why I want to tell you why, boss. I feel like the Dallas Cowboys have other areas of need that they need to address. Receiver is one of them still, and linebacker is still one of them. I feel like defensive end is one of the positions that I feel like they're kind of okay at. You already got a Dante Fowler out of free agency, right? It sounds like you have a plan with him. You re-signed Dorrance Armstrong Jr. You have a plan with Sam Williams. You got DeMarcus Lawrence on the other side, and I know Golston bulked up, but I feel like still he can slide in and out and play defensive end for you. And you still got Terrell Basham. You just showed a wicked spin move that he did in training camp. So you still have him in the wings. Mm-hmm. So you don't really have to go after another defensive end, really, right now. What you really need to do is, to me, is look at that receiver position and really look at that linebacker position more than anything. Because if one of those positions go down as a major person, there's going to be trouble. If a player goes down on the defensive side as defensive end, I would say it would not be good. But we did see DeMarcus Lawrence go out, right? And he was our ballyhooed guy for so long. But when he missed those 10 games, I don't think Dallas Cowboys defense missed a beat. I don't feel like the Dallas Cowboys defense regressed, because you got a guy named Micah Parsons who can come right down to play that defensive end and make that defense still effective. So you can still do some things. But if you lose a player like certain, because I don't want to throw the names because we get worried, but when you lose a top player in the offensive receiver core, if you lose a top player on the defensive side and you haven't addressed a linebacker or receiver, you're in trouble. I just looked at this, boss. When we talk about the receivers that you have right now with Dallas, besides a CeeDee Lamb, right? And you got a James Washington who, guess what? He's still, he's not the greatest. Michael Gallup is out for a significant amount of time. You got, I think, 6 receivers on this roster out of the 10 I believe they have right now in camp that are undrafted. Okay, and you got a Simi Fehoko who you don't know what you're going to do with him. So, yes, we're excited about what TJ Vasher's doing in practice. Okay, but he's got to get in the preseason games, and he's got to be able to do it in these real games. And I'm not hating on any of these players, right, boss? But you're relying on 6 undrafted free agents as the players that could be your guy if your main guy goes down. CeeDee Lamb did miss a couple games last year with a concussion. We got to remember that he did miss a few games. Anything can happen in this league, boss, and you've played this game at a higher level. College football, anything, it's injuries. There's going to be injuries. And if one of those injuries, you already got Michael Gallup out, how do you feel about the receiving core, boss, if a CeeDee Lamb goes down? That receiving core does not look good at all. Same back with the linebacking core. So you're talking about a Takk McKinley, but if a top linebacker goes down, then what? Yes, we feel good about Jabril Cox, but he still hasn't played significant time in the NFL. LVE 17 games, but he's been off and on. You get what I'm saying? So that needs to be addressed. Yes, you got a Malik Jefferson, but his NFL career hasn't been great. And who else maybe have behind that? Luke Gifford, who's been a career backup. You don't have anybody of significance that's really going to jump out at the linebacker position, really make plays. And there's undrafted players on the linebacking core that they're pumping up. That's all good. But to me, there's a reason why these guys went undrafted. And I feel like those are the areas that they need to look at in free agency or of a pickup more than a Takk McKinley, in my opinion, boss.
I think I know what they're doing, though. I do. I think I know what they're doing. With him, he was a 30 visit guy, just like James Washington, right? And I think they had some success with guys that was like him that was banged up, and they was able to get a deal out of them. You know what I'm saying? Because at this point, when you coming in a training camp, you likely have exhausted most of your options. You down to maybe 2 teams. You see what I'm saying? And I think Stephen Jones trying to sneak in some value late. You know what I mean? Regardless of the position, it's almost like he's stashing them like a red shirt, similar to Malik Hooker, where you go get some rotational reps out of him. You know what I'm saying? You go get some rotational reps out of him, and you go try to see what these young guys can do at receiving linebacker. You know what I mean? And if they not living up to snuff, then you go spin there as well. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm kind of thinking. I think they looking at him like he's just potentially a deal we can't let go, especially if it's Dan Quinn heavily lobbying for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I want that dude, because I checked him out and I remembered him. Hold on real quick. No, right here. I remembered him versus Dallas. Now this is him versus Steele when Steele was a rookie, and he just murdered.
He was giving him the business. I remember that he was giving him the business. I think that's why we circled back on him.
Yeah, because he had a great game. His motor was A1.
Yeah,
like
it was crazy.
I put it like this: we do not come back that game if he didn't get hurt, because he hurt his groin in the first quarter.
Yep.
If he was already, man, he was giving Steele all kind of hell. I was scared for Dak, bro. I was scared for Dak.
I remember.
Boom.
And I'm glad you brought this game up, boss, because that's what I kept thinking back in my head. This game, I actually, boss, no lie, when you're showing these highlights, I went back and looked at his stats in this game, because I was like, I remember Takk was killing us, but he was hurt.
Yeah.
That whole year. So I went back to his stats, and I didn't get to see the tape. But I was like, okay, he only had 3 tackles, but for some reason I remember he was all over us. And so this is where I remember that first quarter he was killing us.
He went out in the first quarter.
Man, it was so glad that he went out, because he didn't, like you said, he might have been the difference in the whole game.
Look how he never quit. Look at this.
Yeah. I believe that's the game right there that made Dallas say, let's go back and check and see if he's available.
Look, going after the ball, he never stopped his motor the whole time, even when he was blocked. You know what I'm saying? It's he's a raw football player, and I can see why we would want him. You know what I'm saying? And I think boom, hit Dak right there. Got him a clean lick on Dak. Look at this.
I remember yelling like, "Come on, man! Somebody help Steele!" I remember I was like, "Somebody, man, help Steele, dog! Man, he's getting killed over there."
That guy hit in his throat. Look. See, that's the stuff people don't see. When your quarterback getting hit like that,
he was working Terrance that game,
bro. And remember, this is the game we came back on. You know what I'm saying? We came back. Dak, you think we coming back? He taking hits like this for 4 quarters? Nah. Boom. So you right. I think we circle back, bro. I think we circle back. And I want to ask you. I didn't mean to cut you off, but my dog Chris Davis wants to ask. I think he asked about the Achilles, because he had Achilles injury and really the lack of production. But I think you said something about, they want to get kind of spot duty from him. If you can kind of expand upon that again. Yeah, I think they just want him in the building. I'm just being all the way honest. I think, and it makes sense. Stash away these Marshalls guys, these guys that was formerly great, that had a buggy career. You know what I'm saying? Put them with your doctors. Have them not go through a full season like you go depend on them. Give them kind of like rotational duty like you did Malik Hooker. You give them a whole year to heal. You don't put a whole bunch of snaps on them, and then you get them back restored. You know what I'm saying? And I think Will McClay and Steven being real smart about how they go about these former greats. I'm just being honest. And so they might be, and Steven, he like to think 10 years out. He be thinking 20 years out.
Yeah. That's his problem. And that's why Dallas is always going to just sit there and meddle.
But on some of this, they do get it right. I'm you know what I'm saying? Like on this.
Here's the thing, though, boss. I really don't even be mad at who they pick as far as when they do the smart thing as far as signing these players. Like when they picked up Malik Hooker, like I haven't been mad at that. Like that's not what I'd be mad at Stephen Jones about. Like, because I like how they do those type of picks. But once again, I still feel like you have to get 1 or 2 guys that can get you over the top. That's the only thing I say. That's not going to happen in Dallas anymore. And I feel like that is one of the reasons why we kind of still can't get over the hump, because even with our elite players, you can still grab somebody out there from a team that's elite and add them to him, and then he can be that punch that really gets you there. We've seen it time and time again what it really does to a team, and I feel like with always going with those, we just believe in our guys and we'll just add some pieces. Well, like I said, if your guys aren't playing elite football pretty much all the time, letdown is coming, and it comes at the worst times, it seems, in Dallas.
You listen, bro. I can't fight facts, big dog. That's one thing. It's a big thing for Boss Cowboy to actually say publicly that he drunk Kool-Aid. Listen, I do not drink Kool-Aid without first measuring. I cannot fight facts. So the fact is, what you're saying is, that wouldn't be a right now winning move. You right. So if you do get attacked, you got to get attacked and then follow up with a receiver and a linebacker. You got to get your attack and you got to get your Anthony Barr, because then you clearly showing you thinking about the coach after Mike McCarthy. You're not thinking about Mike McCarthy and trying to keep him here, and you're not trying to win it. You already pretty much stuffed this year away. Low key, that's what you did, and that's what you honestly saying. That's what you honestly saying. If you get attacked and you don't get a receiver and you don't get an Anthony Barr, yeah, I agree with that.
It's okay for the future. I mean, that's what he says it time and time again. Listen to the words he speaks. Listen closely how Stephen Jones talks when he mentions future and what we feel good about these guys, growing. And they say that because he's saying be patient. If you always hear him without him saying it to you, he's saying just be patient. We understand you're frustrated. We understand we want the Cowboys, but these things aren't built overnight. And when he keeps saying that, that's the excuse. So if we don't win, we're still building, y'all. We're still building for this future. We're still okay. All
right. Real quick, man. Y'all make sure y'all hit them likes. Just a quick reminder. I just want to give y'all a quick reminder, man, while y'all sitting in the church getting you some good sermon. You gotta pay your tithes. You gotta pay your tithes with hitting that like. So
yeah, hit that like button.
Yeah. And they always do. Just sometimes they just need a reminder. Yeah, just we go stop talking football and giving it away. Let's all pay the bills with that like and appreciate it. And then we also like them super chats too, as well as we like the cash apps, So and we appreciate all of it. But regardless, man, thank y'all for coming out and obviously chilling with us when we talk this ball. So what's up, man, on the pads, man? Just real quick, man. What's up on the pads tomorrow? What's your thoughts on the pads?
I'm excited about the pads. We talked about it. Everybody always looks good without those pads, but when the pads come on, it's real. When we played football back in the day, boss, we always, whether we coached it or play it, we saw all the kids look all good and without them pads. Them boy was catching passes. He looked good. He catching 80-yard bombs. He gonna be nice. Then when he caught that ball and went over the middle and got blasted, we like, man, what happened to him? He keep dropping the ball now. He don't come out his breaks no more. It's real. So pads change everything. So guys that look good without pads may not look great with pads on. So that's what you really want to see. But some guys that I can say I want to kind of look at, boss, when the pads do come on, Jabril Cox. That's somebody I definitely want to look at when those pads come on. Where I want to see how he's coming from the injury. Sam Williams. I want to see, he's got good speed off the edge, but doesn't really have any moves, but he's strong as anything. So I like to see how he's going. A lot of people on the defense, I feel. Osa Ogodazu, I think we all agreed, boss, that this year too, he was going to be really good this year. So I want to see how he looks. Bohanna and Ridgeway, see how they handle that middle along with Biadish, Connor McGovern, Tyler Smith, a lot of that offensive line. I think a lot of the offensive line and defensive line, especially positions, I feel kind of good about. I like how the cornerbacks are playing. I feel good about the safety position. I think Marquise Bell, I'm going to keep an eye on him because they're real high on him. But to me, boss, I'm really looking at them pads is those trenches. How is the Bohannas looking? How is the Ridgeway coming along? How is the Nelville Gallimore, the Tristan Hill? Will he be here? Will he not be here? Golston, they said he got bigger. Is he he going to be playing more into one tech? Is he going to flex out at 5? We're going to be seeing that. How is, like I said, the Sam Williams going to look? The Dorrance Armstrong Jr., who's going to get a first crack at the defensive end spot at the right side? DeMarcus Lawrence, he says he's healthier than ever. We always hear that, but he's got to have a big year. I said 10 sacks for this guy, so I'm really looking at that. And then on the other side, boss, I want to see Tyler Biadasz. You mentioned it. He's 315 now. He's got bigger. That was the complaint. He's got to get bigger. So he's put on the weight, and it's been muscle. So let's see how he works. We want to see how Tyler Smith goes. He's looking great in the offseason. He's looking great with his training. Let's see how he looks with those pads and if that work has really been going on. Connor McGovern is another guy who I like. I think he's going to be a good addition at that either guard spot if something happens with somebody. So I want to see how Connor McGovern works. And then we need to see about this Josh Ball kid. As soon as Matt Faranock, but well, let's go. He went out with the injury, the shoulder injury. I believe Josh Ball was playing left tackle with the first team. Didn't hear a lot of things about him, but we need to see about him. He was the draft pick last year, 4th-round pick, didn't get any work. We need to see what Faranock and Josh Ball bring to the table. So we got to see what these offensive linemen. Swing tackle is a concern for me because if Tyron Smith goes down, are you sliding a Tyler Smith out? Who's going to be the swing on the right side or the left side? So that's a position to look at. So I think those are the things that I'm really looking at when the pads come on, boss Cowboys.
Man, boy, boy big. Whoo. Man. You
My
came
bad.
out. Nah, man. I loved it, man. I wrote down everything you said. Sam Williams, Osa, Bohannon, Tyler Biadasz, Connor McGovern, Ball, Farniok. That's a good list, man. That's a strong list of trenches to kind of see something out of. My list, I was writing it down as you was talking. And I'm not taking calls today, y'all. I'm going to take calls tomorrow. I'm sorry, y'all. It's hard to produce and work the final word and take them calls. It's a lot too much to keep a clean show.
Yeah, because he's already a beast. He's being already a beast at this already. So,
appreciate it, guys.
Cut him some slack.
Yeah, cut me some slack. But I promise you we go freestyle tomorrow. I promise you that. But Story Jackson, Malik Jackson, and Christian Sam is who I want to see. I want to see Harper. I want to see which one of them linebackers, when you put them pads on, go start cracking. You know what I'm saying? Because how do you not smell blood with this linebacker room? How do you not smell destiny? You know what I'm saying? You can be Dak to Romo. You can take, because I'm not wishing injury on anybody, but it's going to be very hard for the whole linebacker room. Look at our rush. And see, I've been thinking about this, Big. Our pass rush is so good that it's going to require teams to have to run on us. Because it's going to put because I predicted today we going to have the best pass rush in the league. It's going to be number 1 by a mile. You know what I'm saying? I don't think nobody gonna be close to our pass rush, being honest. With Osa going into year 2, Tank having one-on-ones because of a concentration on Parsons. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Ghosting going into year 2. You got Tristan Hill going into year 4. A year and 8 months out of his ACL surgery. You got Neville Gallimore going in year 3. Whoo, bro, ooh. So they gonna have to run the ball. Teams gonna have to run the ball. So what's this gonna do? That's gonna stress test your linebackers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's and that's why I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to see which one of them guys go smell his blood and crack. You gotta crack something when them pads come on.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, I totally agree. I just said that, just bouncing off what you said, and I totally in agreement with that, because you definitely want to see one of these young linebackers step up and be a force since, you might not see the Anthony Barr because right now he's high priced, and if he doesn't come down that price, you're not going to see an Anthony Barr come in. So you might be missing that veteran linebacker that we sorely need. Right. So you really want to see one of these young guys really step up in practice, and these preseason games, Boss Cowboys, are going to be huge. Because these guys are really going to have to play. We're going to have to see a good this is where you're going to have to get a real good evaluation of them, because these young guys are going to play on this team, and they're going to probably play a lot. So the Ridgeways and the Bohannas really have to show the Cowboys something. To me, in my opinion, they got to step up, because as you said, 100%, boss, teams are going to run on the Cowboys. I think they still gave up over like 110 to 120 yards per game last year. And that cut down toward the end of the season when Neville Gallimore was inserted back into the lineup, but they were still giving up over 100 yards a game. So teams are still going to attack the middle, boss. With that pass rush coming after them, we can see the teams doing the fake, doing the delay, the play action, and dropping the ball right under the middle to the running back after the linemen have rushed up on the outsides, and that middle be wide open. So the LVEs, the Micah Parsons, and they got to stuff that run, or they're going to get those explosive runs up the middle, boss.
Right. Yeah, that we got to get that. We got to get that. I do feel good about it, though. I feel good about Bohanna. Year 2. Usually they turn around by year 3, but with Aiden Dirty and what he's been doing with that D-line, he make balls believe. I don't think he a soft coach, and I think that D-line go show up. If you was able to get Watkins.
Yeah.
You was able to get Carlos Watkins to be a one-tech. So
for real.
So now you got Ridgeway, which usually rookies, being honest, rookies usually don't make no difference in the middle. Mm-hmm. But I think he got the right mentality. If anybody might make a couple of plays as a one and then pull him, just put him out there fresh, full of adrenaline. Right. Yeah, him. Couple of plays.
I agree.
So, but then, obviously, I want to see Israel Mukuamu. I want to see.
He's got to have a good camp. He may not make it, dog, because that Marquise Bell's going to push him.
Right, and this is what I'm saying about Israel keeping it real. You got to show me that you not no catching tackler where you catching.
Yeah.
Because if you don't turn that corner and you just not a safety, then yeah, Bell, let's go. All right, Tyler Smith.
But here's the thing. But just to bounce off before you talk about Tyler Smith, but he did play corner too. Don't just say, "Oh, we cut him," and you knew he played corner. And you talk about you like that length. So now you got the Marquise Bell, and maybe you had to plan for Mukuamu like that. But now you got that Marquise Bell, and he's probably that guy, that big nickel type that you got in J-Ron Curse. Now. Don't throw away Mukuamu. Let him work that cornerback spot. Now you got 2 long-arm cornerbacks in Nashawn Wright and then Israel Mukuamu. Aren't you feeling good about that? Because Nashawn Wright's been getting his hands on some passes out there in these streets, and we want a Nashawn Wright to be good.
Nashawn is slowly stacking because the plays that was made on Boss Man not being made on Nashawn. So Nashawn need to do what he did last year, come up with that ball. He need to get, and he almost did. He almost made a good play on Dennis Houston. So I want to see if Israel, and you right, don't throw him away. I agree with you on that, Big. Don't be like, move him to the corner, because we can't have no safeties that's soft. We just can't. Just period. So just recognize he not a safety, move on. That's what it is. Tyler Smith, that's who I want to see when the pass come on. I want to see Big, since we talking about these pads, is the strength for real?
Yes.
That's what I want to know. I want to, and the pads go show that, because you go get tested. What's your thoughts?
Right. I totally agree with that, and especially when he's been working with Manyweather, and we've seen the slim trim Tyler Smith. I mean, he looking trim out there, and now everybody's like, well, dang, how small has he gotten? He ain't small like that, because when I seen him walking behind Zach Martin and Tyron Smith, he's still very big, but he just cut some of that weight and kind of leaned it up and made it real tone. But like you said, he's going to be tested. He's going to go against those inside guys. He's going to go against Bahana. He's going to go against the Ridgeway. Those guys are 330. Those guys are 335 pounds. He's going to go against Carlos Watkins, who's a savvy guy. He'll be going against a Chauncey Golston, who's gotten bigger. So, and then he's definitely going to see a DeMarcus Lawrence, and he's going to probably see Micah Parsons coming in on a twist or stunt blitz. So he's got to be able to be ready for that. And we're going to see when they push up underneath him, how much can he hold that ground? And then we're going to see how can he drive up out of his stance and push those guys back and open up lanes for his running game. So that's what we're going to be kind of focusing on, because we talked about how they're going to try to throw him out at the guard first. So a lot of that inside traffic is going to take a lot of power, which Connor Williams had trouble with. We need to see it from the Tyler Smith.
Right. Yeah, man. So my last guy, McGovern, I want to see what Mike McCarthy was talking about. I don't think Mike McCarthy lied when he said he had his best offseason. I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see, are you physical? Are you finishing? Are you destroying bars? Are you holding it down? Are you an improvement and a clear improvement over Connor Williams now? Are you going to make it hard? Because I want you to make it hard for Tyler to take your spot. You know what I'm saying? I want him to make it like, bro, what we gonna do? We can't just move him. I want him to be that good. I want him to be so good that you're over here like, well, we're gonna have to keep Tyler over there. And I want to see, did you plateau? Or are you really like, man, this McGovern, he been in the lab, just like Terrance Steele. When Terrance Steele kept playing, it was like, you can't move him. Until he had COVID, they wasn't gonna bench him. He had to get COVID. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that why Lyle got back out there. If he never would have had the ooey ooey. But hey, final words, man. I'll start.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so final words.
No.
I start, dog.
No, you ended. I'm gonna start. You ended because you did the show, so you end this. My final word is this. Just bouncing off the Connor McGovern thing. This is just something that his father told me. Me and him we don't always talk, but we talk quite a bit. You know, I always like to listen to what he says. He used to be offensive line coach, so he says a lot of things to me. But he says every line coach is different. The biggest thing is whether schemes fit the individual strengths, and the coach is a masterful technical teacher. That part is certainly debatable. I know Khan has been working hard at left guard with a retired line coach familiar with Coach Philbin. I also know he is bigger, and I love the Cowboys' strength. He says not easy for a rookie to come back from back-to-back pec injuries, and then COVID. He said, but I like how they're working with the young guys, and I feel like they're going to get better. So just something like that to hear is that have some faith in Connor McGovern, y'all. My final words, have some faith in some Connor McGovern, because we need to have him. He is either our backup left guard, or he's starting right now at our left guard. But like you said, you want Tyler Smith to work his butt off. Don't just give that to him easy. But I think he's going to be a good addition on either side, so I want to see that. And just my final word is I hope some of these young guys step up. That's my biggest final word, because the Cowboys, that's what they rely on. Young guys and the stars. I feel like the stars are going to bring it. I'm still going to say DeMarcus Lawrence, we need a 10-sack season from you. I don't want to hear it no more from your mouth. I want to see you on the field get these 10 sacks. But we're really going to have to hear. I hear Deron Bland a lot in the chat. You spoke of as the Houstons, the young guys, the Stoney Brooks of the world, the Marquise Bell. We're going to be relying on the Dennis Houstons. Dallas is going to be relying on some of these players, the TJ Vashers. These guys have all been undrafted. Dallas may be relying on them. So hopefully they have what it takes to really bring it, because they will probably be used some point in this season. That's my final word.
My gut feeling and my final word is I'm liking what these guys looking like in training camp. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna steal this from Law. I don't like it. I love it, dog. I love it. I really do, man. Because see, me and you, we play defense. We coach defense, man. we know that pursuit to the ball, that causes a lot. Like you smother offenses when you have a defense that's bought in to crazy pursuit. And the pursuit that I'm watching them guys get after the ball, and I'm very critical. I'm very critical. Like when I'm watching the defense pursue the ball, I hate loafing. You know what I'm saying? And I hate missed tackles. Bro. And I'm just impressed. Like when I saw Sam Williams with Micah Parsons and they ran a stunt and then Dak threw the ball and like tigers going after a prey, they both went after the ball without thinking in a split second. It was the most beautiful sight how they just go at that ball. I love it. It's going to translate. You know what I'm saying? And I know it is. I'm literally drunk on defensive Kool-Aid. I ain't gonna lie. I'm drunk on it. Now the offense.
You are.
I am. And I'm gonna be right. Watch how that D go turn up, bro. I see it in them. This year 2 D, that was a year 1 D. They did everything they did with 1 year Quinn. Now they know his system. Now they know his standard. And they added people to it. Whoo. I think Ball go catch up. I think he go be I think it's some people that we ain't discussed in a while that's gonna come back up. It's gonna be like, damn, bro, Tristan Hill, wow. Cause I've been peeping him too. That dude pursuit to the ball,
all the time.
Yeah, and he
All the
healthy
time.
now. So and I'm liking what I'm seeing in Tolbert. I'm liking what I'm seeing in Schultz. I'm liking Dak. Dak feet look so crispy. His ball look like he got zipped. And then the way he maneuvering in that pocket, it's like he got a good feel for that quarterback. You can see it. Like, I can see these boys got some skill out there. They got some talent. You know what I'm saying? And I think we gonna have a good time watching these boys play football. It just, once we get through the growing pains, once we kind of figure out receiver 2, receiver 3, and receiver 4, and once we figure out linebacker, bro. So anyway, that's my final word. That was a long final word, man. But shoot, man, I felt it. So we gonna be back Tuesday. We ain't gonna do no Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 6.
Nah, not again.
Now we might. Don't even lie, bro. You know what's gonna happen?
Yeah, you're right.
Them pads gonna come on. We doing a fight of words.
We're gonna be like, we gotta go live. Yup, we gotta go live. We gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about this.
Yeah, because them pads, this is gonna be different when them pads on.
Yeah.
Linebackers, y'all
Like,
better.
I'm agree with you on that defense, though. I feel like this defense is going to be. That's what I'm excited about. I'm always a defensive guy. So if I always have any excitement, I damn sure ain't drinking no Kool-Aid for this season. But if I'm talking about excitement, I am excited to see this defense because I totally agree with you, boss. The way they played last year, and that was only year 1. This is year 2. This
Right.
It becomes natural to you.
Right.
You bouncing off your players. You know where they're going to go. You're
Yoga
talking to them in your
fire.
brain. You
Yoga
already know where their
flame.
head is at. And so that's when everything just comes natural and just one great thing. And that pursuit to the ball, as you said, that aggressiveness, that takeaway mentality, it's only going to be better. So
Yep.
I think that's what's going to be ahead. And you always got to feel good if you're playing a season, boss, that if your defense is at least keeping you in those games because the offense can always come around eventually.
Right. Nah, man, it's finna go down. I'm gonna be really listening for those linebacker pads. And we go get those answers this week. Y'all come back. We go do it again. Overtime. No days off.